Hey there, it's Marianne from Thrive Admin Services, and in today's video what I'm doing is I'm introducing you to another function inside Excel called VLOOKUP. And VLOOKUP, I've had lots of trouble figuring out how to explain this. Basically, if you've got a large spreadsheet and you need to be able to pull data from another section or another sheet so that you can compile a full string of information in one central place, this is the function you need. The example I'm going to use in the video today is based on a farm shop, and we've got different produce that all has different barcodes, and we want to be able to, when we put the produce in, pull the barcode into another sheet. So it's probably not a great explanation, but watch the video. It's not too long, and hopefully it will be something that's really handy for you to have. As always, I'm working on a Mac on the desktop using Microsoft 365 Business. However, when it comes to functions in Excel, you can be using this whether you're on the desktop, on the web version, on your phone, whether you're on a Mac or a PC. Okay, so there's no issue here about things. Mine will just look a little bit different if you're using a different one of those different variables. So let's get stuck in. Hopefully it will make a lot more sense to you once you've had a look, and let's get you working with VLOOKUP. Okay, so in this example that I'm going to show you for a VLOOKUP, we're working as though we have a produce store. This is my list of purchases. So I have the buyer, the product, or the produce that they've purchased, and I want to include a barcode that we use for accounting purposes or stock take purposes. So I could take it from this other list I have that has all of my produce types and all of my barcodes, and I could copy it across every time and be jumping backwards and forwards. What I would really like is if they put an order in and I go, yep, great, they want apples, potatoes, peaches, etc. I can just type in who it is and what they've purchased, and the code will magically appear. And that's what a VLOOKUP is going to do for me. So let's build the formula. So in our column where we want the data to be returned, we type equals VLOOKUP. And you can see as I'm building it here, there are some that are here. If I hit the little FX button and go VLOOKUP, you can see it's opened the formula builder on the right hand side. And what this does for me is it means that I can now build this formula in a logical sequence. There are 4 pieces of data or 4 arguments that we need to provide for the formula to work properly. So the first one is the lookup value, and the lookup value is what we want it to look for. So in this instance, I want the code for apples. So I want it to look in my original sheet for apples. So we just click that code there and we go right for B2. So you can see it's saying up here apples. So it's going to return apple. It's going to look for apples. I now need to tell it where to look for apples. And to do that, we can then click wherever we like. So you can do this in another spreadsheet, in another section of your spreadsheet, your existing spreadsheet, or in another workbook. In this instance, it's another sheet because it's this list here. And I'm going to select all of column A and all of column B. Now the data that you select, or the table that you highlight, needs to include both the data you are asking it to look for and the data you want it to return. They must both be in there. So you can't just randomly pull a number. I can't just get it to pull the code because it needs to look for both pieces of data and match them up. So you can see here it's saying it's sheet 1, columns A and B. The next thing I need to do is tell it which of the data in that table it needs to pull back. So when it finds apples, which of the other columns does it need to pull back? So in that instance, column A is where all my produce is listed, column B is where all of my barcodes are, and I want the barcode back. Now I don't type B, I type 2. It's the number column in that set selection. So even though Excel always works with columns in an alphabet format, in this formula you're dealing with the numerical values. So we're looking for apples in that sheet in those particular columns, and then I want it to return what is in column 2, and the next stage is to tell it what do we do with that. So there are 2 options here. If you type in the word true here, it's going to find the closest match. So if I had apples and then we had custard apples and regular apples, it might pull custard apples if it found it first. Okay. So false gives you an exact match. True gives you the closest match. And so we go okay. And you'll see there's my code. So we go back to sheet 1, that is the code. But at the moment it's only running it for here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drag it down and you'll see it's now pulled all of those numbers in. If I change any of these, if they go, oh no, actually we've changed our minds. We don't want onions, we want, what else have I got on my list there? We don't want onions, we want carrots. So if I change that to carrots, you'll see the numbers changed because it's now telling, the formula is telling it, oh, that's not the right answer now. You need to go back. It's not a match. So this is a really handy tool so that I can continue to add things here. Go peaches, beans, cherries, and I can just drag this down as I go and it will continue to do that for me. So it's a much quicker process. So I hope that that has actually helped you understand what a VLOOKUP is. It's basically a way for you to be able to pull data from lots of different places and centralize it so that you only need to enter some key markers and it will pull all the data into a central place. It's great if you're doing things like contact lists or email lists. I've done it where I'm working with organizations that are doing things with volunteers and they need to break things into different regions. So you've got postcodes that have different settings, all that sort of stuff. So it means that it can reduce the double handling. It can reduce you having to copy and paste and have lots of tabs open. You don't actually need to have the spreadsheets open once you've got your formulas set up. So have a play, start really simple and be able to build on it from there. If you have any questions about what I've covered in today's video, then please get in touch. You can pop a comment on this video or you can find me hanging out on Facebook, Instagram or LinkedIn. Just search for Thrive Admin Services. I am always happy to talk all things Microsoft 365. If you're looking for more support, then also get in touch. There are loads of ways I can help you, whether it's DIY templates, short courses, my membership, or some one-on-one support to help you get exactly what you need and get you to work smarter using Microsoft 365 every day. Have a great day. Cheers.